Possibly in Michigan, a 1983 film by Cecilia Condit, was posted to her YouTube channel in July of 2018 and currently sits at nearly 7.5 million views. The video begins with the first woman, Sharon, walking into a department store with the song Animal Cannibal playing over top.
I bite at the hand that feeds me, slap at the face that eats me, some kind of animal cannibal. Animal cannibal.
Sharon meets up with her friend Janice, who the narrator tells us is cut from the same mold. The two friends go to look at perfumes, and all the while they are being followed by a man called Arthur, a cannibal who wears a human mask and whose mouth is perpetually open. As the two women converse, they do so in a sing-songy manner.
This one here smells great. Which one? Smells like Mother's crazy sister Kate. Oh, you think so? Yeah, I do. It smells so good. She couldn't have been that crazy. I don't think so. Oh, you don't think so, huh? No.
During the song, we get looks at Arthur in Sharon's home, the two dancing together, buildings collapsing, along with other strange clips. We see Sharon lying down with flowers in her hair, and she gradually turns into a corpse. Arthur follows Sharon home. He teleports, for a lack of a better word, around Sharon's yard and the street in front of her house, appearing in different animal masks. Finally, he is shown without a mask when he goes to knock on Sharon's front door. As she sees who is at the door, she calls Janice in a panic, and once again they talk in that sing-songy way. Before they finish their conversation, Arthur takes a rock and breaks through Sharon's window, entering her home. It is at this point we hear him speak for the first time.
The better to eat you with, my dear.
At first, the two kiss, but then Arthur begins hitting her. Here, Janice appears armed with a gun, and she shoots Arthur in the back as he stands over Sharon with a knife. Once he is dead, the two chop him up and make him into soup, which they enjoy over a glass of blood-red wine? Blood? While they smoke by the window. They pack up the rest of his remains in a garbage bag, which then gets taken away by the garbage man. There are so many different fascinating aspects of Possibly in Michigan. There were lots of strange cutaways, the color contrast changed from scene to scene, from super high contrast to super pale and flat. Here's what some commenters on YouTube have to say about Possibly in Michigan. From Ash Thompson, this movie is one of the best examples I have ever found of Uncanny Valley. It's so perfectly made and thought out. The way it doesn't show any explicit typical horror elements, utilizing only the sound, vision, and atmosphere to create, since the beginning, the feel of something being not quite right. From Mothy the Clown, for those who are wondering, this was a college project back in the 80s, and if you watch the full video, it's talking about how people need to be more aware of the dangers around us that we don't even look for or see. For instance, the main character is being followed by a killer, and neither her or her friend are noticing the signs because of all the distractions in life. Many of Condit's works can and should be looked at through a feminist lens. A book called Women Make Horror, Filmmaking, Feminism, Genre by Allison Pierce contains a section on Possibly in Michigan that I found to be particularly interesting and helped me sort out my own interpretation of this strange but fascinating work. The video focuses on the female experience of obsessive and unwanted love, gendered violence, revenge, murder, and cannibalism. She approaches these themes by combining humor with the macabre, creating a tension between innocence and violence. While watching the film, I noticed that some of the scenes looked like they were a video of another screen. Initially, I hadn't assigned much meaning to this other than, what an interesting way to give the scene an eerie and unique feel, something to set it apart from the rest. Condit also mediates her protagonist's experience by depicting the abuse through monitor-like screens. The mediation has two distinct effects. First, as these suggest CCTV footage, it creates a spatial distancing for the viewer from the violent images shown. Second, because of the apparent temporal distancing, the mediated screen suggests to the viewers that they are watching a documentation of a past event, even as the attacks are also happening in real time. I thought this was particularly fascinating because now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense, and I think it's such a fascinating way to represent that while a traumatic experience may be over, it is still constantly replaying in your mind, never truly leaving you alone. All in all, Possibly in Michigan is a fantastic video with lots of layers to it. I highly encourage you to check out the full video on Cecilia's channel, as well as some of her other works, which you will find linked in the description. Thank you for watching. Cheers.